Hi everyone, welcome to the industry. We're very happy to have Lauretta Roberts here from WGSN interviewing Nick Robertson, CEO and co-founder of ASOS. We're going to find out his secret to being the largest retailer to hit the planet. So very exciting. So here's to Lauretta and Nick.
Thank you. Since you've had such a big build-up, I'm going to start with a few stats. 80,000 orders every day, shipping to 237 countries. Your market cap as of 3 minutes past 3 this afternoon was something like £5 billion. 850 brands, 9 local languages sites, 29.5 million users a month, and that's excluding mobile users. I've been doing my homework on you. And your sales are around £800 million. I mean, seriously, when you set up in 2000, did you think that was what you were building?
No, categorically not.
What did you set out to do?
People ask you that, you don't know what you're setting out, you don't know what the end game is. We set out to sell stuff online, and then stuff sort of turned into...
It wasn't fashion, actually.
It wasn't really fashion, it was quite an eclectic mix of things. And it was luck that we moved into fashion, because that was our first buyer, which is a lady called Laurie Penn, who happened to be ex-Topshop, and she was kind of between jobs. So, we were telling her to buy lots of stuff, and she kind of channeled us down the fashion stuff. And then, I suppose we started specialising a bit. We could see the fashion was working better. The kind of eureka moments were using the web page like a magazine page, so you could put the picture of the celebrity next to the garment, and unlike a magazine, you could press the buy button. So, magazines have been doing that principle for a long time, but on a web page you could have the buy button.
And you kind of closed that loop as well, didn't you? Because you see it in a magazine, and then you kind of have to go to a shop, and it made it much more immediate, I guess.
Well, that was the whole as seen on screen thing, which came back from our, because we were marketing before, doing product placements.
Since then, your focus has really been on that 20-something sort of fashion-obsessed consumer. And you've done it really well. You've rolled it out across a number of markets.
Yeah, we've had to go out to come in. We started with quite an eclectic stuff, then we narrowed into kind of fashion, and then, we were quite broad on the fashion. We had a lot of premium stuff in there. We did kids wear for a while. And then, we could feel the business wasn't running at full pelt because we were trying to do too much. And from a customer perspective, it was unclear what we were. And actually, it's because the business was getting confused. It's catch-22. You have these buyers buying premium product, which is great, but a tiny percentage of our customers could actually afford it. Premium product was always the stuff that the marketing team wanted to put in the magazine and the email. So now we're presenting premium stuff to girls who couldn't afford, the whole thing. And oh, by the way, there's a picture of a kid there as well. So we don't like stop. What do we want to be? What are we good at? And that was a bit of a galvanising moment about 3 years ago, and we said, right, let's just do 20s and do it well. And suddenly you can see the whole business then just kind of, because everybody was really clear on exactly what we're doing, what we're buying, what goes in the market, tone of voice, the customer care tone of voice, everything just then lined up, and that's served us well. But what was interesting when, in the early years we were kind of looking around going, where is Selfridges, why aren't they coming? Where's Hobby why aren't they coming?
Yeah, true.
And if they had got it together, Net-a-Porter certainly wouldn't exist, and we probably would have struggled to get a bit of traction. The issue they had wasn't what you thought. It wasn't that they were slow to get on board. It wasn't that they weren't thinking about it. They didn't have anything to sell. Department stores over the last 50 years have morphed into property owners, and they lease their space to brands. So when they came to have a website, there wasn't actually anything to put in it. Think about the product in a department store. It doesn't actually belong to Selfridges. So they've had to completely re-look at the way they work with brands to actually have stock sat separately in a separate place.
It's sort of interesting at the moment. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said it's a bit like fashion is in that state the music industry was pre-iTunes, and we're all looking for different solutions for selling online, and it's going to take somebody to just come in with this one solution.
Like the music industry, 10, 15 years ago, we were channeled, knowingly or unknowingly, by the big guys. And, you'd have to really hunt around for new stuff. Now look at, those things are top 10 anymore. And exactly the same thing will happen in fashion. The sort of dominance of the big brands, or the asset that they had, the fact you used to walk down the high street and there was one there, it's disappearing very quickly. So in customers' heads today, they still refer back to their favourite Topshop, Zara, but actually increasingly as they're shopping online and getting exposed to more and more things, and if you love your fashion, well, it's all about new and discovery and what isn't readily available. So you can see a sort of balance of power starting to evolve, and we see that on ASOS. We can put totally unknown brand, and on a pound for pound basis, these guys are punching well above their weight because it's using the asset of the ASOS shop window to get in front of customers.
Because if it's on your site, they'll trust it because they trust your point of view on fashion. They trust your.
So I think it's a really an exciting time for brands that, that huge barrier of, do I open a shop, how do I get my product in front of customers, all that kind of stuff, is disappearing rapidly.
What about other platforms? I mean, I've asked you before, you're ever going to open a shop? I mean, I can't see you opening what we might understand as a shop today, but the whole concept of what retail can and could be is changing. It doesn't necessarily mean a fully ranged store. It doesn't even mean a ranged store at all. Can you see other platforms? I'm thinking also things like smart TV, all this kind of stuff.
I am so I mean, I think we're in a phony period at the moment because people have still got stores. They've got leases on stores, and trying to sort of digitalise their stores. But actually, our kids just want to shop online. That's what they want to do. So it just feels counterintuitive to then go against that. The bit you've got to understand about the internet, there's no. People looked at physical retail and looked at the internet and sort of tried to put the two things together. And actually, if you think about it, what does physical retail? What relevance does it have in a virtual world? It has no relevance. You had shops in different places because that's where people lived. Yeah. You don't need shops in different places on the internet because you can all go to one place.
Hello. You very modestly said that you were very lucky to achieve what you achieved, that timing was good, etc., etc. But there must have been other people out there competing with you, having other ideas that didn't make it. Do you feel that there's one thing above all else that you did well, that you nailed, that made it work for you and that gave you that competitive edge?
Go back to the money point. When you set up a company and you've got a big fat check because your venture capitalist turned up, it's not really your money, and you're quite good at spending it, and that's a different culture. It wasn't my money, but it was my big chunk of my brother's money. It felt like my money, and back in those early days, we would do everything. I mean, we'd be up at the warehouse picking and packing. We'd be, I'd be in customer care one day, team of two. I'd be talking to a brand the next day. So we did everything ourselves, real entrepreneurial spirit. So that was the kind of energy that kind of got us through, I suppose.
We're going to wrap it up, so big thank you.